Hey guys, we already covered the 200 meter dive in Reveries of the Rain, and now it's time to briefly talk about every single stage from 210 meters to 290 meters. There is no tough challenge ahead of you. Some battles are a little bit annoying, but they shouldn't prove to be a challenge. Once you obliterated the 200 meter dive, you should have no issue until you had 300, and even 300 is not too much of a challenge, right? So anyways, let's talk about these stages briefly. Here in 210 meter dive, you will have 3 opponents, and they are all of the mineral inflators. They get buffed by sturdiness, they inflict growth on themselves. They have a buff called Never Ending Riot, which would make them revive once you kill them. But you can see here, after taking damage of a stronger Afflatus, or you crit, if you attack them with a star Afflatus, or you crit them 3 times, that removes these buffs of Never Ending Riot, and that would prevent them from reviving. All of this stuff doesn't matter, because if you just bring star Afflatus characters, like for example, I did it with a follow-up team with Liang Yue, Flutterpage, Fatutu and 37, and I absolutely obliterated this stage, no problem. If you play impromptu and you bring this impromptu team into this stage, then you will be done in under a minute. So there's that. Then 220 meter dive. Here you have 3 different opponents, and you will always have to focus only the boss. The only thing that you have to keep in mind here is that they will inflict pollution on you. And yeah, you will just bring Fatutu, and Fatutu will take care of these pollution debuffs. What pollution does is, if you are inflicted with pollution, then after you take an action, you deal damage to yourself, and they will stack these pollution buffs onto you. So you have to be a little bit careful, and you have to pay a little bit of attention as to how many pollution stacks are on your characters that you are going to attack with. So a good advice here is that you don't go completely nuts with just one character. And even if you could do this in a way that you attack with your main DPS, he will get inflicted by pollution. Then after you attacked with your main DPS once, you will then use Fatutu's debuff incantation to cleanse yourselves from these pollution stacks. And then you can use your second incantation with your main DPS to not kill yourself due to the damage you would take from pollution. There you go. Like Fatutu, remember, she will cleanse these pollution stacks passively because of her follow-up attack. Then we have 230 meter dive. Let's take a look. And yeah, here you have 2 enemies. This one, knife wielding Butcher, we already know him from other stages. He is a little bit on the weaker side, but once you kill him, he will revive himself and be a stronger version of himself. So there are 2 ways you could go about this battle. You could either kill this knife wielding Butcher once, and once you did, you have to make sure that you obliterate him a second time, because as I said, when you kill him, he will revive, and then he will actually be quite strong. So once you killed him once, you will have to make sure that you can kill him a second time really fast. Make sure that you have your ultimates ready, for example, to obliterate him once he revives. And then you have this guy here, but it's not really too much of a danger. This Butcher's Bubble is more of a damage test. You can't really get the stronger Afflatus here unless you are like me and you play Lucy. So yeah, keep in mind, like debuffs, they don't do anything here. The debuffs will be cleansed after every 2 rounds. So yeah, poison, for example, that is not a good choice to bring here. You need raw damage. Like I did obliterate this with Lucy. You can also bring star afflatus characters to make sure you obliterate this butcher as fast as possible, and it's gonna be about that. Then we have 240 meter dive. Here you have one enemy, and you use mass attacks on him. Not only will you deal 100% less damage, keep in mind you will still do damage, because most incantations, they deal over 100% damage, like 120 plus. So keep that in mind. It's just significantly less damage, plus whenever you use a mass incantation on him, you will get inflicted with 2 debuffs. Which ones are a little bit random, but there's pollution, corrode, poison. You don't want to do that. So refrain as much as possible from using mass attacks on this guy. And that's pretty much all there is to say about it. One more thing is that he will have Searing Gash inflicted on him every time you attack this guy. And once this Searing Gash debuff on him reaches 10 stacks, he will get -2 Moxie and suffer Disconcern, which makes it so he cannot gain Moxie. Point is, you want to attack him non-stop, right? Attack incantation, non-stop attack. But yeah, as I said, like the tricky part is, do not use too many mass incantations. You can, because when you get inflicted by these debuffs, then you have Hatutu to cleanse these debuffs. So it's not that big of a deal. Just attack and deal as much damage as possible and bring Fatutu, and then you're gonna be fine. Now we have 250 meter dive. Here we have 2 different battles, and this one is also, it could be quite tricky because of 2 situations. First of all, you will have an ally. I think his name is Mondlicht, but whatever. You will have an ally that supports you in this battle here. And this ally, you will have to use his incantations, so you generate Moxie for him, so that he gets access to his ultimate. Because these enemies, all of them here, they will revive every single time you kill them, unless you kill them in the very round that you use the ultimate from this support character, right? The ally that supports you in this battle. You have to use his ultimate at the right time. So make sure that you lower the HP of your enemies, and when you are confident that you can kill them this round, then you have to use the ultimate from your ally first. Otherwise, these enemies revive. It discounts for all of your enemies. Then you will have a second stage here, the Mother and Child of Fear. This one is very, very, very hard to take down. You need a whole bunch of damage here, and the problem this might cause multiple problems, by the way, because he will cast Nightmare on one of your allies. And if he chooses to inflict this Nightmare debuff on your main DPS, you will for sure not have the damage anymore to actually kill this guy. And getting the advantage of the afflatus advantage here is also not easy, because you will have to bring an intellect character that deals damage, and the only intellect character that would deal enough damage to take this guy down is pretty much just Lucy. So you will have to have a ridiculously amount of damage to take this guy down. And remember, you have to use the ultimate from your ally, otherwise this thing will revive itself. So yeah, how I did it with Lucy. And yeah, there's one more thing, because this here. So whenever you attack an enemy and this enemy is holding 2 or fewer types of negative status debuffs, then you will inflict 1 stack of dread to the target. That is very, very key. That is something you would absolutely have to do on this boss right here. that is a way to actually take him down if you stall the battle out a little bit. So make sure that you non-stop every single round have at least 3 types of debuffs on this guy, so that you inflict these stacks of dread. The more and more stacks of dread he has on himself, the more and more damage he will take from you. So stack this like crazy, you know. Have debuffs. So the way I did this, I did it with, I brought Lucy to this fight because she has a flatus advantage. Then, in order for me to have these debuffs inflicted, I used Sotheby with her poison. I brought Recoleta to this fight, just in case the boss would decide to inflict his nightmare status onto my Lucy. Then I would need someone else to be actually able to deal the damage. But yeah, if he inflicts the nightmare on your main DPS, that is tremendously bad for you. And also, he can inflict this nightmare status onto Mondlicht, onto the ally that you need his ultimate. And if he inflicts nightmare on him, you can't use the ultimate, and you will probably have to reset the fight. So yeah, try this a few times. It's a little bit RNG heavy, but you can get it done. Just keep the dread in mind. 3 debuffs on him every single turn. That's about him. Then yeah, this stage here is very, very easy. That is all about bring Starflader's characters. I did it with my follow-up team, and if you play impromptu, this will be an absolute walk in the park. You can take this battle on however you want. The best way is to focus this boss here, this mysterious medical kit, down as fast as possible. But yeah, you can also take care of these statues. You will do mass attacks, right? It's bring enough damage, bring Starflader's characters, and you will be completely fine. Impromptu would obliterate this battle easily. I did it with Liang, Fatutu, Flutterpage, and 37, and it was an absolute walk in the park. And yeah, that's about that. Of course, keep in mind that for this one, for the Mother and Child of Fear, you should bring the Myth Manifest Primitive Urge. And yeah, when you play Starflader's characters, you always bring this planet thing. I forgot what it's called, but you know what I mean. The Myth Manifest for Starflader's characters. And that's about it. Then we have 260 meter dive. Ah yeah, this one is a little bit tricky, because here, the boss, that is very, very interesting. So, this boss, the Eye of the Doorway, will always only take 1 damage, no matter what you do to it. And at the end of the round, he summons 2 spiders. There can be a maximum of 4 spiders on the field. At the start of the round, for each spider on the field, this unit recovers 3 HP. But whenever one of those spiders dies, this unit loses 1 HP. And yeah, this repeats twice. So he loses 2 HP every time you kill a spider. He loses 1 HP every time you attack him. He gets hit by a mass attack, for example. And he recovers 3 HP for each spider on the field. So the best way to approach this is to keep poison on the spider active at all times. You can do this simply by using Sotheby or Kanjira. No matter what character you use, just you have to have a character that inflicts poison. And you have to make sure that you inflict this poison on this Eye on the Doorway. And then you have to go nuts on the spiders. You have to constantly use mass attacks. You have to have a lot of damage, and you gotta obliterate these spiders as fast as you possibly can. Otherwise, this boss will always heal himself back up, and he will be unkillable. You will never kill him if you don't kill these spiders quick enough. You can, the best way to do this is obviously to bring plant type Afflatus characters. that have mass attacks. A very good way, as I already mentioned, is to do this with Poison, Willow, Tuesday, but also Noir will be very, very, very clutch here, because she inflicts debuffs like Burn and Poison, which is perfect against this boss, doesn't get better than that, and her ultimate deals mass damage, which kills these spiders easily thanks to Afflatus advantage. So there you go. Poison is the key to victory here. And of course mass attacks. Then 270. What was that? These two. Ah yeah, okay. Here, what matters here is that they are immune to bleed, corrode, poison, burn, and pollute. Like they are immune to debuffs basically. So poison or burn or something like that does not work here at all. And the key to victory here is that you keep switching targets, because you can see here at the beginning of every 2 rounds enters Lance cap status for 1 round. What does that mean? That means that when the caster is attacked by reality damage, damage taken reduction plus 50, and the ghost does the same. When a caster enters battle, he enters concealment. He dodges reality damage. You have to wait for 2 rounds. So you see, to attack this, you have to wait for 2 rounds. And this is at the beginning of every 2 rounds. They will become immune or very, very resistant to reality damage. So in the first 2 rounds, you attack the ghost. Then he will become immune to reality damage. And then you have 2 rounds to attack this guy, and you switch targets like that every 2 rounds. That is only important if you actually deal reality damage. If you deal different damage that is not reality damage, then you can completely ignore what I just told you. And that's all there is to this battle, right? Again, intellect Afflatus would be Afflatus advantage. And you would have an advantage if you don't deal reality damage. But most of the good main DPS characters, they actually deal reality damage. And if that's also the case for you, then you have to switch targets. Here, first 2 turns Ghost. After 2 turns, you attack this guy for 2 turns. And then every 2 turns you switch targets, and you should be fine. You still need a whole bunch of damage here, but that's the gimmick of this fight. 280 meter. What do we have here? These guys. Okay, yeah, this is again, first of all, mass attack damage will deal 50% less damage, and you will deal more damage with 1 target attacks. The important thing here is though that you will again be afflicted by pollution. So you will have to take good care of this. Keep an eye on how many pollution debuffs are onto your characters, because otherwise they will kill themselves. Use Fatutu, bring a lot of 1 target attack damage, and you will be fine here. This should be a walk in the park, but you can easily also kill yourself if you don't cleanse these pollution debuffs. But yeah, bring Fatutu and you will be fine. No worries. Then here we have Necrologist as an enemy, and this is again these revive shenanigans. She will have shields, she will revive, yada yada yada. It doesn't matter, there's nothing you can do against that in this case anyways. What is important here is that she will inflict flinch onto your allies. And yeah, you will then take more damage and stuff, but again, that also doesn't really matter. You have to keep an eye on it, so you actually make sure you cleanse this with Fatutu, and that's all about it. Then it's just a damage test, which you will easily have the damage ready, because she takes more damage from Star Afflatus characters. So again, my follow-up team, your impromptu team, will completely obliterate this stage. Just bring Fatutu so she cleanses the flinch debuffs, and that's about it. And those were all the stages from 210 meter to 290 meter. None of these stages should pose too much of a challenge, because the 200 meter dive, that was actually the crazy part with Spatodea and stuff. So you should easily reach 300 meter dive, and I will cover this really soon. You can see here I did a few attempts. I already beat 2 stages, so it won't take me too long to reach stage 3. And from this point on, I will make sure that I actually have in-game footage so you can see me battling this fight, because yeah, people like to see gameplay when they watch a video like this for some reason. Like, explanation should be enough, but I guess it's more entertaining if you actually see me play. So I will cover everything about Reveries in the Rain, and from 300 meter dive onwards I will make sure to record me beating the stages, so videos will be more entertaining. But that's about it for this video, guys. I hope that was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.